My name is Adeline Parker. I'm 34 years old, and until 3 weeks ago, I believed my life and relationship were built on a foundation of trust. Marcus and I had been together for 4 years, sharing the same home for 2 years, and we were supposed to get married in 6 months. At least that's what I thought. Looking back now, I remember our first meeting. It was at an art gallery opening. Marcus approached me with a new wine glass when I dropped mine, and with a sweet smile said, "Hello, may I introduce myself?" That day, I fell in love with his smile. For 4 years, I believed in that smile. Every morning I woke up happy to see him beside me. We made vacation plans, adopted a dog together, prepared breakfast together on weekends. Everything seemed so normal, but everything began to fall apart on that ice-cold Wednesday evening when Marcus came home and said, "You can't interrogate me. I go wherever I want." The harshness in the tone of that sentence, that unfamiliarity in his voice, it was something I had never heard before. It was as if the man standing before me wasn't the Marcus I had known for 4 years. Marcus worked in the marketing sector. He was charismatic and social. I had always been proud of his professional achievements. The connections he built with clients, the confidence he displayed in meetings, these were the qualities that made him attractive. But for the past few months, I hadn't realized that behind these qualities lay another reality. For the past few months, he had started coming home between 2 and 4 a.m. At first, I attributed this to work pressure. "We're working on a new campaign," he'd say. "Client meetings are running long." I tried to be understanding. After all, sacrifice was necessary for a successful career, right? But gradually, the details began to change. He would come home smelling of alcohol and cigarettes, and Marcus didn't smoke. When I first asked him about it, he said, "The clients smoke, I have to be around them." It made sense. But then the intensity of the smells increased. There were traces of different perfumes on his clothes. Once I saw a lipstick stain on his jacket collar. "One of the clients must have hugged me," he said. Back then, I wanted to believe him because I trusted the man I loved. He would slip in quietly, never letting go of his phone like a shield. In the darkness of night, I would hear his footsteps, listening to how he climbed the stairs. When he came to the bedroom, his phone screen was always turned face down. He would check the screen even when plugging it into the charger. He even started taking his phone with him to the bathroom. This was something he had never done before. When I asked him where he had been, he accused me of being controlling and paranoid. "Adeline, this relationship can't work like this," he'd say. "What's the point if you don't trust me?" The words were so skillfully chosen that I began to feel guilty. Maybe I really was paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking because of stress, the pressures at work, the stress of wedding preparations. These things could have been affecting me, yet I was just following my feelings. That voice inside me whispered that something was wrong. My sleep was disturbed at night, and when I looked in the mirror in the morning, I saw a woman I didn't recognize. The circles under my eyes were darkening. The vitality in my face was fading. Even my closest friend Sarah had noticed. "Adeline, are you okay? You've looked very tired lately." One Thursday night, when he left again claiming to be out with work colleagues, that uneasy voice inside me had turned into a scream. That evening was actually special. It was our anniversary. 4 years ago, we had met on that day. That morning, I had reminded him, "Today is a special day," I said hopefully. "I know, sweetheart, I'll come home early," he had said. But at 7 p.m. he texted, "Things got complicated, I'll be late." At 9 p.m. I texted again, no response. At 10 p.m. I called, he didn't answer. I was sitting alone at home. The dinner I had prepared for 2 had gone cold on the table. I had made Marcus's favorite meal, risotto. I had stirred it carefully for hours, even put it on a presentation plate. I had lit candles beside it. When I think about how foolish I looked now, my heart aches. At exactly 12:07 a.m., I picked up my phone. It was trembling in my hand. I opened the location sharing app we had downloaded for security during a nature walk a year ago, but had forgotten to turn off. My finger hesitated on the screen for a moment. Did I want to look? Was I ready to learn the truth? When I opened the app, my heart was pounding as if it would leap out of my chest. The few seconds it took for the map to load felt like hours to me. And then, there it was, Marcus's location. He wasn't at the bar near his workplace as he claimed, but at a luxury hotel 30 minutes away from the city. The Riverside Palace Hotel, a five-star place famous for its romantic vacation packages. We had planned to go there together once, but Marcus had said it was too expensive. I kept staring at the screen until my eyes started to burn. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe the GPS was malfunctioning. But no, the location was very clear. He was there, at that hotel, at 12:07 a.m. At exactly 2:13 a.m., my fingers moved faster than my brain. Until that moment, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had just been sitting, looking at the map, trying to appear completely calm on the outside, while storms raged inside me. Then I saw the check-in feature of the app that we had never used before. This feature allowed you to share your location with the other user. So I could send a digital stamp to Marcus's phone, showing that I was at that hotel at that exact moment. My finger pressed the button, send. The notification went through, and I turned off my phone. That night I remained silent. Because when you realize someone is lying, words are no longer a search for truth, but merely a strategy. I went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. I waited for morning, staring at the ceiling. Thousands of scenarios were running through my mind. What kind of face would he have when he came? What would he say? When exactly had that notification appeared on his screen? The next morning at 8:30, when he entered the house in a disheveled state, that notification on his lock screen had already ended everything. His face was pale, there were dark circles under his eyes, his clothes were wrinkled. But what caught my attention most was the panic in his eyes. He froze as soon as he saw me, when he shouted, "Are you tracking me?" The accusatory tone in his voice surprised me. He was acting as if I was the one who had done something wrong. But I was very calm. Even I was surprised at how calm my voice came out. "The app has always been on, Marcus. I just thought to check it now." Marcus denied it at first. "What hotel? I was at a bar." Then he took out his phone, opened the app, looked at his own location history. The expression on his face changed. "Okay, yes, I was at a hotel, but it was a business meeting. We had reserved a room with the client because we couldn't find a conference room." "At midnight?" I asked. "We worked until late." "Are you alone?" There was a silence. That silence said everything. "Just once," he finally said. His voice had broken. Tears were welling up in his eyes. "I swear, Adeline, it only happened once. I made a mistake. I was very drunk. She was there and—" But lies never stay confined to just once. I knew that at that moment, but I wasn't ready to prove it. Not yet. From that day on, I used my silence as a weapon. While Marcus put on his repentance act, constantly apologizing, buying flowers, trying to arrange romantic dinners, I began to separate my life from him in the background. I acted as if I was forgiving him. "I need time," I said, "but we'll get through this." I saw the relief on his face. He really believed it. One day while he was at work, I opened his iPad. The password was his birthday as always, 1989. 4 digits, the security code of our 4-year relationship. How ironic it was. When the device opened, I didn't know exactly what I would find, but what I found devastated me. Emails, hundreds of emails, with a woman named Lena. She was his ex-girlfriend. I knew that much because Marcus had told me their story. She was my first great love, but it ended years ago. Now we're just friends. Just friends. As I read the emails, my stomach turned. Last night was amazing. I miss you. Are you thinking about leaving Adeline? This wasn't just once. It had been going on for months. Actually, exactly 8 months. I looked at the calendar. 8 months ago, we had started discussing engagement plans. But the real shock was in the bank accounts. We had a joint account, the account where we were saving for marriage. Each month, we both deposited a certain amount from our salaries. For the wedding, honeymoon, maybe the first house. There should have been $45,000 in the account. There was only $15,000. $30,000 was missing. I looked at the transaction history. Transfer after transfer. Hotels, restaurants, jewelry stores, all for Lena. Without my knowledge, he had spent the money we were saving for our future on that woman. That night when Marcus came home, dinner was ready on the table. I greeted him with a smile. "How was your day?" I asked. "Good, sweetheart, how are you?" he said. He kissed my forehead. We ate together, watched TV, went to bed, like a normal couple. But that night as I lay beside him, calculations were running through my mind. I didn't give an emotional response. I didn't yell. Instead, I documented everything. Every day, I gathered a little more information: hotel receipts, bank transfers, location histories, and screenshots. Every email, every message exchange, every photo. Everything stored in Marcus's cloud. I knew his passwords because he had never felt the need to hide them from me. After all, I was the trustworthy girlfriend. For 2 weeks, I worked systematically. While he slept at night, I was at the computer. A few more hours before going to work in the morning. I organized everything, arranged it chronologically, matched it with dates. Finally, a complete 127-page evidence file emerged. This file was no longer just a stack of papers, but the funeral announcement of the illusion Marcus had built. Every page was a lie. Every document was a betrayal. Reading the file, I felt like a detective. But what hurt was that I was the victim of this crime. For my final move, I chose the Sunday dinners with Marcus's family. His mother invited us home on the first Sunday of every month. This week was the same. Marcus was cheerful that morning. "My mother is proud of you," he had said. "She sees you as her daughter." I had smiled. I love her too. We went to dinner. The table was beautifully prepared. His mother, father, younger brother Tom were there. Everyone was warm, smiling. Tom was talking about university life, his father about politics. It was a normal family dinner. That evening, while Marcus was helping his mother in the kitchen, when he whispered as if nothing was wrong, "She doesn't know about our plan yet, just smile." He was actually telling her about the fake papers they had prepared to transfer my house to them. They were speaking in Greek, their own language. They thought I didn't understand. But I noticed, because I had known that language since childhood. My mother was of Greek origin. She had taught me Greek when I was little. Marcus didn't know this. I had never felt the need to mention it because I hadn't had the opportunity to speak it. But now I was hearing every word. The house is in her name, but after marriage it becomes joint property, his mother was saying. In case of divorce, half of it becomes yours. Marcus replied, "There won't be a divorce, Mom. She's very stupid. She believes me." Those words, that word stupid. Something broke in my heart, but my expression didn't change. When we returned to the table, dinner was being served. Everyone was cheerful, joking around. Marcus held my hand. "I love you," he said to me. I smiled. "Me too." After dessert service, I stood up at the table. Everyone looked at me. "I want to say something," I said. Marcus was looking at me with a proud smile on his face. Maybe he thought I was going to announce our engagement. Then I started speaking in Greek. The expression on Marcus's face changed instantly. His mother's fork and knife fell from her hand. "Funny, because I've already finished my own plan," I said in perfect Greek pronunciation. "And being stupid is not part of that plan." The silence at the table at that moment, that blood draining from Marcus's face, these were priceless. His father's mouth had dropped open. Tom was trying to understand what was happening. I took out the 127-page file I had prepared from my bag and placed it in the middle of the table like a bomb. The file had written in large letters, "Betrayal, digital evidence, Marcus Parker." "I've already sent this file not only to you, but also to the husband of the woman he's been cheating with via email," I said. Marcus jumped up. "Adeline, what have you done?" "Didn't you know Lena was married, Marcus?" "Oh, sorry, of course you knew, because you had also met her husband a year ago at that company party." His mother's face had turned bright red. "What does this mean, Marcus?" I opened the file. The first page was a photo of Marcus and Lena at the hotel, an image I had obtained from the hotel's security camera. How did I find it? The hotel's security manager was a former client of mine. With a small request, he had given me a copy. The second page was the bank account statement. Every transfer was marked. The total amount was underlined, $30,000. "This money was from our wedding fund," I said. "We saved for 3 years. Marcus spent it all on Lena." His father's fist came down on the table. "You can't do such a thing." He was shouting at Marcus, "You've disgraced this family." Marcus turned to me, anger in his eyes. "You've ruined me, Adeline. You ruined yourself, Marcus. I just brought the truth to light," I said in a calm voice. I took my bag and walked to the door. Turning around, I looked one last time. That family, that world of lies, that fake happiness. It was all collapsing, and I was no longer part of that wreckage. When I left that house that night, I was no longer a victim. As I drove, the city lights flowed past me, but everything in my mind was clear and calm. When I got home, my first task was to call a locksmith. He came even at 11 p.m. We changed all the locks in the apartment. The new keys were shiny and copper-colored, symbolizing a new beginning. I carefully collected Marcus's belongings: clothes, shoes, books, shaving kit. I filled black garbage bags with the remnants of a 4-year relationship. There were 6 bags. I left them at the door in the apartment hallway. I left a note on them. "Your things for your new life. The keys don't work anymore. Good luck." Marcus called 36 times. Every time my phone rang, looked at the screen, I saw Marcus calling, but I didn't touch it. I didn't answer a single one. He left voicemails, first angry, then pleading, then regretful. "Please, Adeline, let's talk." I was a fool. I love you. Forgive me, but some endings require distance, not explanation. I didn't listen to those messages. Over time, the calls decreased. After a week, they stopped completely. I met with my lawyer. The house remained in my name. I took the remaining money from the joint account. Marcus couldn't make any legal claims against me because the evidence was so clear. My lawyer even said I could sue for embezzlement. But I just wanted to get away. I received an email from Lena's husband. "Thank you," he wrote. "I was suspicious too, but I had no proof. Now I'm filing for divorce." Marcus had lost everything, not only with me, but with him too. Now, 3 weeks later, here I am. I'm 34 years old, single, and for the first time in my life, I'm truly free. I wake up in the morning and feel at peace. I don't answer to anyone. I'm not trying to decipher anyone's lies. Just me. I made changes to the apartment. I repainted the walls using light white instead of that dark grey Marcus loved, but I hated. I bought new curtains, new plants. I arranged my own books on the shelves. The house is now mine, only mine. Last week I went for coffee with Sarah. "I've never seen you this happy," she said. I smiled, because for the first time I'm myself, and I think for the first time I'm at peace. The biggest lesson I learned was this. When someone calls you paranoid or jealous, they're actually just making excuses for their own lies. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Loyalty is not a choice, but a matter of character. Marcus didn't choose to be loyal to me because it wasn't in his character. I chose to trust him because it was in mine. But now I'm making conscious choices, not blind trust. And the truth always leaves a digital trace. In this digital age, lies cannot be hidden forever. Every message, every transfer, every location record, they're all there, silently waiting. This situation is like a thief moving secretly in the dark, unknowingly leaving glowing phosphorescent footprints behind. No matter how quietly he thinks he's moving, those traces will inevitably expose him in the end. Marcus left phosphorescent footprints, and I followed them. Now those traces are gone, but I'm still here. Stronger, more aware, and definitely freer. And here's my advice. If your partner calls you paranoid, maybe you should be a little more paranoid. Because sometimes it's not paranoia, it's just being careful. Life goes on. And so do I, without Marcus, without lies, only with truths. And this truth is much more beautiful. If you've listened to my story to the end, don't forget to share your experiences. Because sometimes a story can change someone's life.